Travelogue, and we are at the Red River of the Red River County. And to see her just like that in all her splendor is quite something. Now, she carries large proportions of silt because of the easily crumbled soil that's deposited in her basin, especially from the Redlands, and that's how she got her name. And just to see her this way, majestic, flowing southeast towards Vietnam, is quite a sight to behold. Now we're going to be heading towards Yuanyang.
Last episode in Hung He County, we set foot in the spiritual world of its ethnic minorities against the spectacular honey rice paddy fields. But here in Yuanyang lies the fabled mother of all rice paddy fields.
We've just reached Yuanyang County, and this is the new town. It's called Nansha. It's newly developed, and you can see the town is just flourishing. But photographers will probably swiftly drive by to the next town, which actually is not the next town, it's the old town, and it's 30 kilometers up on the long and winding mountain road. Now, the reason why you'll go straight to the old town is because it's closer to the scenic paddy fields. And I've got this, my sour plums, to help me get over my queasy stomach aches. Hey, Stella! I'm over. It's real foggy outside. You can't actually see much. In fact, it's like about 10 or 20 meters visibility in front of us, and kind of getting worried because we're supposed to see the beautiful scenic rice terrace fields, and at this point we can't see much. Within like an hour we're climbing up 1,000 meters, so this is a pretty hefty climb, and hopefully when we get up there it will kind of clear. I don't know, at this point it's anyone's guess, but it's pretty bad out there.
Yuanyang is the Mac Daddy of all paddy fields here in Hung He County. 95% of its over 2,000 square kilometers is dedicated to agriculture. The vast majority of the people here are from the Hani ethnic minority group, and all credit goes to them for cultivating these lands.
Voila, these are the very famous rice terrace fields of Yuanyang. You know, they're so well equipped to deal with tourists and visitors. They've got maps showing you where you are, where you should go for the best view of the sunset and the sunrise. And they've even got this observation deck for loads of photographers who'll be shooting their super zoom cameras into the terrace field. Of course, today is not that usual day. You know, it's hard to imagine that every square inch of this land has been painstakingly handcrafted by men. It's a man-made wonder.
Grain by grain for over 1,300 years, this landscape has fired the imagination for centuries. 1,500 meters high in the Ai Lao Mountains, many paddy fields sit side by side, each with its own distinct reputation. Some fields are known to frame the money shots for the best sunrise or sunset. We are here at Duo Yishu.
This looks like such an exquisite tea house. I mean, it's almost like an art museum with very interesting everyday items from the honey culture. And you know what I love about this is you can sit here with your hot cuppa. And the best part, you can look at the $1 million view of the rice terrace fields. That's live. This is really something. We're playing a cat and mouse game with the clouds. Now you can see emerging from the mist. It's going to be some fantastic, awesome, enchanting looking European-styled homes. And they have got beige walls and dark brown roofs. But actually they're the homes of a Hani ethnic minority. Now at this point I command the clouds with my dance to disappear. Alright, it's not working, guys. We're having a really bad filming day, by the way. It's crappy clouds and cold and wet and miserable, but yeah, we get glimpses of the beauty of the rice terrace fields.
With the weather not on our side, we checked in to take shelter for the night. Yuanyang is slightly more developed and visitor-ready. This hostel is a good example of a cozy family-run affair. It's easy to find a contingency hideout while waiting for the weather to turn.
So if you get caught in a wet and clammy day like this, the best thing to do is to check into a hostel like this. They've got a couple that's in the nearby villages, so you can choose from them. And the best part about this is that you get warm meal cooked from a very nice, hospitable family, basic room with shower, and of course you might even make new friends.
Sunny's guest house is a stone's throw from Duoyishu village. This mother and son team is the ultimate hostess with the mostest, warmly receiving their guests. Their homely vibe is hard to beat, but the prize is catching the jaw-dropping view of the paddy field sunrise and sunset right on your balcony.
Did you find there was a language barrier? Was it easy to get around?
I went with, there is a China person here who speaks English, so he bring us there.
So you had a tour guide?
Yes.
Very good.
Yuanyang attracts a steady stream of foreigners who are ever ready to brave the roads. These backpackers tell me that this cheap and cheerful hostel is one of their favorites. What's not, I learned, was the language barrier. But what they lack in skills, they make up for in pantomime and access to bilingual tour guides. Others who have studied Mandarin and lived in China were better equipped to deal with directions and haggling. This part of Yunnan borders Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and these travelers can journey southwards to any one of these nations, which is a bonus.
Laos is the best by far in Southeast Asia. Yeah. Although this is where I got the stuff from in Laos. They just the tubing? When you swing on the tubing, you can do that? Yeah.
Should we bargain in China?
Yeah. Is there a moral issue there?
It's
a game.
Otherwise, you will spend a lot of money during the trip.
So what's your going rate? Because some people say 1/3 the price. What's your 50% of the price?
Yeah.
Your best price.
And sometimes I look at they all like, I'll do a special price for you. Special price. For me, are you serious?
Sunset at Lao Hu Tsui, or Tiger's Mouth, packs the biggest bite of marvelous golden light shimmering across the landscape. But today was neither the day nor time for it, which seems reminiscent of yesterday's weather pattern at Duoyishu.
We're here at the Dragon's Mouth Rice Terrace Fields, and it costs 35 to get in because they built this beautiful observation deck, and you can get a complete bird's eye view. But of course, the moment we came in, the weather turned again. So we're hiding out in this coffee shop, and then I see her just sewing away. So she's got all these lovely products, and she did it all by herself. So I think I'm going to do some shopping meanwhile, waiting for the weather to change again. 这个多少钱？30块。你是要缝多久？这个。
Watching the E-lady hand-stitch these pieces make you understand the value of what you're paying for.
这是结婚的。
这个结婚的，还有做那个。
This will be my bridal gown.
这个激光是我们跳舞的时候穿的。
我会跳。
Put women folk together and they'll be sewing, dancing and singing.
我 I don't know what ball. We've been sitting here for over an hour already, and we've even found time to write some postcards back home. Looks like the weather is really not going to turn, and we have to go on with our plans, and we're going to head on down to Lichuan. So I'm just going to dot my postcards and put little hearts to Mummy now. How's yours getting along? You alright?
Finished.
You haven't finished. Yours is a mess. Your handwriting is bad.
Our next destination takes us to Luchun, which is a 3-hour drive from Yuanyang, and it's known for its stunning green landscape. Most of the villagers are Hanis and wear traditional outfits as part of their daily lives. With just one main road running through Luchun, it remains off the beaten track. We reached the town of Laomeng with stomachs rumbling. It was time for our daily grub, but our plans were up for some alteration again.
You can't really believe it. There's a landslide that happened just down the road as we're going to Lichuan, and that's it. That's the end of our trip. Well, no, not exactly. We're not going to be heading down that direction, but we are here in Laomeng, and what we're going to do is we're trying to find a place where we can get lunch. And good thing about it, you can see like there's people out, you know, there's like a market day of sorts. That's what we heard on the street. And cars and trucks are just turning back because they can't go down that way. And right now my director and driver, they're trying to find an alternative route. At least, I'm not even going to say where else we're going to go at this point, but we're just going to go get lunch. So at least that's settled for now.
It turned out to be rather fortuitous to have a stopover here, as the Zhuang, Miao, Yao, Hani, Yi and Tai came out in full force with their colorful costumes and tribal headwear. To see about 6 different ethnic minorities mingling and trading here is certainly surreal. Sunday is a market day here, and certainly not one of rest. It's a big event for the villagers who want to sell their produce and stock up on other provisions. A weekly affair sees a regular assembly of goods and people converge in Laomeng that makes a perfect photo moment. If you are coming by public transportation, it costs only 20 RMB and it's a short 2 hours drive from Yuanyang County.
She's very enterprising, isn't she? She's selling buns to the people up in the van. This place is really, really chaotic. Like there's a sense of energy. Everyone's out. There are different ethnic minorities, and but there's still some sort of order.
For the villagers in the remote countryside, this is one of their few social activities. This part of southern Yunnan is known for its tobacco output, while Laomeng is famous for the production of pipes. Although we couldn't venture out to Luchun, our timing seemed impeccable. Walking around this part of China reminds me of Southeast Asia, and rightly so, since influences from neighbors have spilled across the borders.
All the ethnic minority are out in full force. Does it feel like China to you?
Yeah. That's what I keep saying to my friend. Like, are we in China now? Yes, we're in China. Every day, it's fun.
Yeah.
As Laomeng lies close to Luchun, it's a natural indicator of what lies ahead in that vicinity. That certainly helped to make up for missing out on Luchun as a destination, as this is an equally spectacular treat.
This is great. It's like an authentic ethnic fashion show. You can see lots and lots of different colors here in the street. Now, the sun is finally out in this Sunday market here today. And although earlier on we didn't actually get to see anything at Tiger's Mouth, but this is fantastic. I think it makes up for whatever that's happened.
When journeying through this area, be prepared for any sudden change in your travel plans due to weather and road conditions. I say it once and I'll say it again. Nothing is more important than safety here. Though visiting a far-flung village sounds like a grand adventure, do as the locals do and only venture out when in the clear.
All the massive buses, they can't go through. So we don't know, but we just know that they've stopped the road. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Jingping. Jingping is like 100 kilometers, which is like.
The weather has made a 180-degree turn here, and off with the windbreakers as the sun is back on. We started this long road trip from Kunming and covered Jianshui, Shiping, Honghe, Yuanyang, but missed out on Luchun due to the landslide. We will now be winding 100 kilometers towards Jingping, renowned for its hot springs, and down to Hekou, which shares its border with Vietnam. More than 3/4 of Honghe's terrain include mountainous areas, so we took regular breaks to marvel at the grandeur of Mother Nature.
We made a short pit stop here along the way to Jinping, which is located on the south of the Honghe River. You know, they don't even have this on most guidebooks because it's quite remote. And so it's nice to just stop and have a look around, a fabulous view of the rice terrace fields.
It took us 3 hours to travel 100 kilometers, and the sky was getting overcast. We finally reached Jinping town and checked in for the night after having spent almost a day on the roads. As we made our slow ascent, nature gave us some comfort and breathing space. We were literally a stone's throw from Vietnam, as it's just tucked around the corner. Good morning. It's time to do our daily grind and hit the road.
Jinping is a county that borders Vietnam, and it's literally your gateway to Southeast Asia. Now, if you're driving through, the main town is well developed and you can find lots of good accommodations, and that's exactly what we did last night. We had a superb night's of rest because the air here is crisp and fresh, and we were meant to go to the hot springs, but unfortunately our MPV is too low for the roads, so you probably want to come with a 4x4. It's a better bet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head up northeast towards the highway, and we're going to go on a straight stretch of road, and that's got me super excited because I got enough of that winding road. So that's what traveling is all about. You got to roll with the punches.
Tourism is still in its early stages, and although driving through parts of the roads here are tiring, it is worth it. Nature is largely unspoiled here, with spectacular rice paddy fields cradled by the green hills. Southern Yunnan in Honghe Prefecture promises to quench any nature lover's thirst and inspire creativity.
Still barking at me? I love piggies. You see all sorts of animals here on the road. We still have 1 hour more before we hit the highway, so we gotta hit the road, Jack.
The hot springs are still a well-kept secret here in Jinping because it's tricky to navigate the terrain. It's best to come by a 4x4 drive, and in these remote areas, you can never over-prepare. Unfortunately, we had to give it a miss.
你们现在回家吗？回家卖完东西了。卖完东西了。你们是什么族呢？彝族。哦，彝族。那你们是住在这个地区的？过山。哦，你住在山上。你要走回家吗？走得很远嘛。大概有1个多小时的时间。就这样走回家1个多小时。哦。那我就不送你们了。再见。
Guess what I discovered next?
So Yunnan is known for its tropical climate, and you can find lots of different plant species. In fact, it has about 50% of China's floral species. And after it rains, there'll be mushrooms, and locals will pick it. Now, in my guidebook, it says here there are fresh red and green chilies, large dried chilies, chili bean paste, and it all comes from this little one. And this little fella is what they call chili that's growing towards the sky, because it literally grows up. And it says bracket, it's very hot. All right, so I'm going to try this little bugger. It is chili. Oh, it dropped on the floor. All right. The 3-second rule, you can pick it up as long as it doesn't fall on the ground for longer than 3 seconds. Here it goes. Oh my God. It's really hot. Water! Water! so we just ordered our lunch and we've stopped off in this little joint. It looks very basic and simple and rudimentary, but you know what? Even though it's not spick and span, I think that's part of the charm. Where we are right now, we're still quite some distance from the highway because we've been driving pretty slow, and I think that's quite important, especially when you're going up and down the winding roads. On the way, we noticed some bananas, lots of banana plantations. I think that's because we're getting close to the Vietnam border. So it's very interesting to see how, you know, it got greener, and then there were donkeys that were carrying some of the goods, and the place is just really buzzing and quite alive. And right now we're just hungry, and we'll, you know, wait for our food to arrive. Let's see if she needs some help. By the side of the street, and it smells good. Yeah. If Greta can cook, so can you. We'll let the professional handle it.
Lunch was satisfying in more ways than one. Guess why?
Okay, so this looks completely mad right now because we're stuck in a jam. And in fact, I'm losing my mind. We've been sitting in here for a very long time. It was a good decision that we had lunch because the van that we saw about 2 hours ago is just in front of us. So basically, they've been stuck here for an even longer time, and there's nothing that we can do but wait it out and just amuse ourselves and just hope that we get through. Apparently there's a metal scaffolding that fell on this other van, so if you're up on this winding road, if one car or one van is in trouble, that's it. The whole line of us is just chock-a-block. So there's nothing to do but to wait and just try and find interesting things to do, like balancing this rattan on my head. Alright, I'm going to be in peace.
Herco lies on the border of the northern Vietnamese town, Lao Jie, along the southern tip of the Yunnan province. The mighty Red River flows down to this China-Vietnam border, spanned by a concrete bridge which connects the two nations.
We're on the map right here, and we are heading straight towards Herco. And if you look at it here, this is the expressway, which we are currently on now. So we're going to be sitting for about 80 kilometers until we get to Herco, which is like literally on the gateway to Vietnam. So it should be interesting to see what the border cross-cultural influence is like. But for now, I'm super happy. We are on the highway.
Herco lies on the border of the northern Vietnamese town, Lao Jie, along the southern tip of Yunnan province. The mighty Red River flows down to this China-Vietnam border, spanned by a concrete bridge which connects the two nations. Herco is abuzz with cross-border trading activities, benefits that comes with its strategic location. If buying and selling is as hot as its climate, then Vietnam Street heats up the shopping by a couple of notches. Stretching over 1,000 meters, find everything and anything made in Vietnam. It's getting late, but the night market is still open for business.
We've got about 3 hours left in this night market, and you know what? I really do want to just shop around because this feels a little like Southeast Asia, like home, and you know, the flavors, the smells. Actually, Hong He has been really surprising, from being up in the mountains where you can see just interesting ethnic minorities to coming down here. All of a sudden we're in the crossroads of like Vietnam and China, and everything feels just that slightly more familiar to me. So I think I'm going to have a good time easing into this place.
It's been a hard day's drive, so good night until the next episode of Travelogue.